Guys, you're back here with another episode. I'm here with the regular co-host Matt Burke.
What's going on, guys?
And then our special guest today is Cam. He's a holistic healing business where he sells Seamoss and Shilajit. So we're just gonna get right into it. Tell us about yourself, Cam. How you been, dog? It's been a minute.
Yeah, it has been a minute. It's really good to see you guys.
A whole year, bro.
Yeah, for real.
Oh wow, it has been.
Yeah, it's been a whole year, bro.
Damn.
Well, actually, no, it's capped. Like
It's
6
been,
winter break.
it's been like almost 5 months,
Yeah,
but
winter break.
it feels like a year, and a lot's been going on. So just a couple days ago, we just got a big old order of Seamoss, and what I do is holistic healing, but I have a main focus right now on Peruvian Seamoss.
Mm-hmm.
Why Peruvian, like specifically?
So really weird story.
Let them know.
Yeah,
We connected with this guy named Sebastian,
The goat.
who lives in Peru, and
Shout out.
he's a really cool dude. I mean, that's the power of social media and Instagram. You can meet someone all the way across the world and do business with them. So I mean, what he does is dive. He's a solo. He dives down, gets it right off the rocks, and what that's called is wild crafted Seamoss. So the scientific name for Seamoss is Chondrus crispus. And yeah, so Seamoss, just to sum it up, is a superfood. It has 92 out of the 102 minerals that our body consists of and need to thrive. So what that looks like is I got so much more energy, like just naturally. I've heard a lot of people who were really, really on like pre-workout to workout. That was really their thing. Like they would do their dry scoops before, or
Fucking meatheads, bro.
have like 300 milligrams of caffeine before. Do something crazy. Like you don't need this. So I've seen a lot of
They're some meatheads. No,
Smelling salts. You ever hear about ammonia tablets?
those are crazy.
Oh yeah.
I would like hear him do it on the show sometimes.
That clip is full.
No, but you brought up how Seamoss, like people use that as like a pre-workout scoop instead of like pre-workout, and I can attest for that. I've been taking Seamoss and Shilajit, which Cam also sells, which we'll get into in a second. But I've been taking it for a whole year, since June of last year. So I'm coming up on a year in like 2 weeks or a week, and I've been taking the Seamoss and Shilajit, and I've never felt like my body has never felt like this, nor my mind. Like the just cognition, like cognitive focus, and like how clear my conscious feels from the Shilajit, and then my body is where like the Seamoss comes in. It helps my body. I feel like Shilajit helps my mind more or less, but the energy thing I can definitely attest for. Like I got a like let's say like when you go to work and you wake up in the morning, like you're tired. I don't get that anymore. I just like wake up and I have like energy. Like I'm just like ready to fucking go, bro. I'm like wired. So I definitely can attest for that. But is there anything else that like Seamoss provides for you besides like the energy boost?
Yeah, so I was really looking for something to help clear out my lungs and all the mucus in my body. This is my freshman year. I'm in the dorms. It's around winter time. Everyone's getting sick. Everyone's coughing. I mean, it's just persistent, and I just got tired of feeling like shit. And what I did was just look around. I had a friend out in Mount Shasta, California. He had some Seamoss, and I've heard about it. I found out about it, I think maybe through like TikTok. Saw a video, and I got to trying it. So I made it in my dorm. I had my camp stove, my pot. I mean, it was a
Oh, that's
setup.
funny.
And then I had like the magic bullet.
Yeah.
So it was super. It was like
Bro, making Seamoss with the magic bullet's impossible, Cam. I've fucked it up before.
It was thick.
It was hard. It was
Yeah.
thick as shit. Yeah,
it was that purple Seamoss too. So
I remember that, bro.
it was so the purple Seamoss, stronger in taste and smell. I mean, it is higher in
Fishy.
antioxidants, but when you compare it to our gold, I mean,
Clear-cut difference.
yeah, it's a lot more mild.
Yeah, for those of you that know, I actually have been doing business with Cam for about a year now, coming up on a year, and I've been helping him sell the moss and just distributing it locally to our area, just because he can't do that because he is now living in another state. I can't expose, man.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to let
Cam
them
lives
know.
in an undisclosed
I
location.
can't let them know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I've been helping Cam sell the Seamoss, and definitely has given me like a huge benefit with like my digestive system, like the way my food digests.
Oh, facts.
It's like I was a big guy, and I've been on a big weight loss journey, like lifting kind of thing. So I eat a lot of food, bro, especially with my metabolism. So I eat like 4 meals a day, and each meal is probably 800 calories each. So like maybe more sometimes. So I'm like crushing food, bro. And the biggest thing I will say is after like 2 to 4 weeks, the way I would digest food was like different.
Super slow. Oh
No, super fast.
super fast.
Like,
Yeah. After.
warning, TMI warning, but bro, I would eat food and just hit the toilet like 10 minutes after, bro. It was like scary. One time I ate like 1,200 calories, like 2 cups of rice, 12 ounces of meat, some naan bread, like spinach, a lot of like grubbing, bro. And I ate like 2 full plates this big, like 2.5.
Yeah.
10 minutes later, bro, I was at my girlfriend's house and I was about to explode. It felt bad. Hopefully they don't hear this. That shit, it definitely helps your digestive system, the energy, and like kind of affects your mood as well. Like the energy I got from it and wanting to actually like go about my day instead of being tired, halfway through, I'd have energy the whole day throughout. So that was definitely the 2 biggest things that I saw. And then the third one was the mucus. Like I'm just always have built up mucus just over time, just through allergies and just other things that I've done in the past. So I had a bad mucus problem last summer, and it cleared my mucus up, like I would say, like I feel like all of it was gone like 6 weeks, 4 weeks. So definitely can attest for that. But getting off the Seamoss topic, what else do you sell inside your holistic healing business?
So Isaiah touched on She Legit, so we get all of our She Legit imported from the Altai Mountain Range, and that's Kazakhstan, and we import it from Russia. So we get it. Really, we have all the papers, all the lab testing, and something why that's important, I'd say, is like a lot of people, as I'm on the market, there is a study that's shown that I think it was like close to like maybe 70 or 80 or even 90% of the She Legit on the market was fake.
Wow.
It's probably, it's because it's chock full with heavy metals that when you ingest, definitely not good. We need, that's seriously, they're reaching dangerous levels of heavy metals. So it's really important that if you're going to get She Legit, get it with something or get it from someone who can show you the lab testing. And I think if they can do that, it's a lot more trustworthy because She Legit's incredible. As Isaiah already touched on, it increases energy by a lot, and especially I would say over time, over that consistent use, you really see an increase in like longevity in terms of energy. Like it's not like it's just up and down, but
It's
more
constant.
So, it's like the whole day. Like you're just coasting, right? And that's what I really enjoy about She Legit is you can take it, I would say, cycle on and off. I know Isaiah was on it for a year straight before he decided to cycle off of it. But if you cycle off every 2-3 months, after 4 months, I would say that's a good reset time and get back on it. You really feel the difference. And another thing I wanted to mention, I think Isaiah can talk about it more, is the testosterone. He was a trainer right now. He just got everything set up. So I really want to hear about how that's helped you in terms of when you're working out. Did you feel a difference?
Oh, dude. OD, son. So I started the She Legit. The reason I started taking the Seamoss before me and Cam did business, it was actually just a hunch. I just wanted to support the homie's business. We weren't crazy close, but we've talked a couple times, and I was like, I want to try this shit because I bought some Organite from you actually before. So I was just trying to get the Organite too, like that. So I was like, I'm going to support. I was like, I can get some Seamoss. Bought the Seamoss. I like that. So I started the She Legit, and that was the one I really wanted to start out of everything else Cam recommended. And the reason I wanted to start that is because I had lower testosterone from medicines I was taking in high school. And I could tell a clear difference with just my libido and my testosterone in general. So I read the benefits of the She Legit, and that's what was on it. So I was like, bro, sign me up right now. I need that. That would be tough. So I started it. Didn't feel anything the first 2 weeks. Third week, I didn't really feel it, but maybe it was building up. The fourth week, bro, I felt a clear difference in testosterone through my lifts, the way I would just go around about my day. My libido was higher. and just everything I felt I felt more cognitive, like way more focused, and usually I could I snap out of it when I'm talking or like doing anything, and I would just get way more focused, and I would have way more flow in the way I would go about things. That's what I noticed in the first month. And around like month 2 to 3, it also heightens your endurance, makes you absorb more vitamins and minerals, and removes pollutants and toxins from your body. So that's where I also got the cognitive focus, and removes pollutants and toxins. I don't know if this was the way my brain was thinking, but I felt way more positive in my life. Like I'd go about my life in a more positive manner, a more grateful manner, and more just a better attitude overall. The absorbed minerals and vitamins, I feel like I was a beast. Like I had so much energy, especially taking that with Seamoss. It was crazy. And then the third one, heightens your endurance. I could play like a sport, and I would like really haven't played like high intense cardio I'd probably do like twice, maybe once a year, and I did it for like pretty consistently. I played basketball last summer, and I would never get gassed. Like I could play for hours, and my just lungs would just on go mode, and I'm always in shape. So that's definitely my testimony with the Shilajit. I've been taking it for a year now. I only got off of it for about 3 to 4 weeks. I just started it back up again. So I definitely, you can cycle off of it, but everyone's different. It's definitely recommended to cycle off of it. It's just super concentrated. I didn't know that at the time, but I never saw any like negative benefits. It was just only positive. The testosterone thing in the gym too, I got way stronger, like way bigger, bro. I filled the fuck out in the last year, and I think that's from like the way I was eating. But maybe it had to be with like the Seamoss, like the way my food was digesting, and the testosterone boost is definitely like a real thing, because I could not crank out like 70s on dumbbells like last summer for show, and now I can crank out like 100s for like 6.
Seamoss has amino acids in it.
I didn't know that either. Yeah, and it has amino acids. That's why when I take them together,
so when you're working out, like,
they're fire, bro.
If you work out,
gives you a fire pump.
You're getting the natural amino acids, which are the building blocks.
It's the building block of proteins. Yeah,
I mean that is something so crucial that people
don't understand, but
supplement through like powders, but you can get it living through Seamoss. I mean, dude.
Yeah, I need to get back on the Seamoss. I haven't been as consistent with the Seamoss as I was the Shilajit, because when helping Cam, I wouldn't go out my way to make a jar. I would just make it for others, and if there was extra left over, I'd keep it. But I was never consistent with it. The only time I was consistent with it was for about 4 to 6 months, and then I got inconsistent for the last 6 months. But going forward, I can definitely see a difference in the what were you talking about?
Amino acids.
Yeah, amino acids. Yeah. Like last summer I was just going ham. I felt good lifting, but
we'll get you on it.
I thought I heard someone. Yeah, but this summer I definitely want to get back after it, because I feel really good. But what about you, Matt?
I think I was on it for a little bit, and then I just
stopped taking the moss. Got inconsistent.
Yeah, it
expires, so it's hard to get like on it and take it every day.
Yeah,
it's like medicine, but it also expires. So it's like if you forget to take it for a week or two, like you only have a week left.
Yeah, I didn't put a lot of emphasis on making it a part of my schedule. It was more of like when I remembered to take it, and then I always felt like if I took it too late in the day, it would give me too much energy, so I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. So if I missed it in the morning, I'd miss it for that day. Which, I mean, not a good way to look at it, because it's natural. So if it's a natural energy boost, I can also do things to where my body can naturally calm down, instead of like, obviously if you were to take pre-workout at 5 o'clock versus pre-workout at 9 o'clock when you wake up, it's gonna last, like you're not gonna be able to sleep if you take it at 5. But if it's natural and it's coming from Seamoss, then it would not necessarily be so detrimental to your sleep. But yeah, I definitely got to get back on it, because digestion's a main thing, and between the amount of dead food that we eat, in terms of a lot of people aren't getting their fruits and vegetables in on a consistent basis. If you're just constantly intaking things that hold a lot of heavy weight, to like they have a lot of substance in them, to the point where it takes your body a long time to break it down. For me personally, like food comas are like a big thing that I struggle with. If I eat too much at one time, I'm knocked for, I feel way less
I don't get that, bro. I'll eat
way less like determined to do things. It's almost like I've wired my brain now where if I eat a lot, I have to now like construct like a chill time frame for my food to
niggas
digest.
out of commission for 45 minutes.
Yeah, and it's not ideal because
Badass.
I don't want my food and my eating schedule to be detrimental to like my overall productivity throughout the day. Like, because at some point it's like if you're doing something, you're hard at work and you're focusing on something, to take a break to eat could also be like, you know, a big thing to do if you really want to get focused on what you're trying to do. But yeah, I got to get back on it.
Yeah, I definitely forgot to say, like, the more touch on digestion, like if I eat like 3 cups of rice or like a box of fucking pasta, like half a box of pasta, whatever it is, an abnormal amount of food, I don't get in food comas, bro. Like, especially when I was like peak Moss, bro, I would just like poop that thing out and just keep it moving.
Yeah,
and I'd have hella energy, bro. And that's when I was probably my strongest point at the gym. Like, that's actually, no, I'm definitely stronger now, but for the size I had, like the weight, I was stronger. And necessarily like weight to mass moving terms, I was stronger back then.
Mm-hmm.
And you should be pooping at least like 2-3 times a day.
But I was only pooping
and
like once a day.
If you're not,
before.
bro, you're getting all. There's probably a lot of stuff in you, dude.
I didn't know that though. I didn't know how important it was to poop. Like,
yeah.
Like on a serious note, like I didn't know you were
real.
supposed to like poop that much.
Mm-hmm.
Most people say like deem it as a bad thing, but
Because we could hold pounds and pounds and pounds of waste in our intestines. I think it's anywhere between 5 and 20 pounds.
Wow.
It's no, yeah, bro.
Imagine walking around with. I mean, seriously, and I bet that's like the average. So I'm sure there's been people walking around with like.
Mm-hmm. Because we're eating a lot of dense
That's how much
food.
you weigh.
Yeah, and yeah, the quality of food that we're eating, it could be anything from, you know, something that's like, whether it's fast food, we all know that's, you know, could be innately bad, but it's also things that we look at that's good for us that may not always be something that is good on our ingestion and our colon and the whole process that takes place. Because a lot of things don't have fiber in them, and if you don't have if you don't have high fiber, your body can't get those things out at the rate that you're taking them in. Yeah. So yeah, I think the waste buildup in your intestine, it has to have an effect on your nervous system all the way up to the mood that you feel. I mean, the food coma thing is a perfect example.
yeah, bro, you eat food to the point of where you can't move. I haven't had that in like seriously so long, but I think I eat a lot of food. It's like disgusting, bro. Like yesterday I had 4 meals yesterday. The last 2 meals was like 10 ounces of chicken, like a little more than a cup of Brussels sprouts, and like 2 cups of rice. It's like
Bro, dude, that's
2 cups of rice is like,
the part that like.
bro, I
drink
eat
water with it or something.
Bro, I
crazy,
eat
bro.
so much food.
I
Bro.
split a
Your
cup.
stomach's just like.
Sorry, no. Yeah, no, I'm just fucking with y'all. But nah. So back
Flex on this real quick.
yo, chill. No, back on topic though. So you got into holistic healing with the homie from the Shasta Mountains, you said?
Yeah, Mount Shasta.
Mount Shasta.
He was the one who sent. Yeah, Mount Shasta. He was the one who sent me out the first package of Seamoss, and like I said, I was making that in the dorm, and it's really small, but people were like, "Hey, I want to try some," and I would make smoothies with it, and I'd be like, "Hey, you want to try some?" Because we had a really, really close dorm hall. It was really awesome, and everyone. Even if they didn't like try it, they would support. Like they would just talk about it, which would. I honestly gained a lot of traction because people really enjoy, at least in Boulder, just natural selections of. Like people want to be able. I like to say like, my thing is to empower others with the tools for like healing, because healing is super personal. I mean, I would frame it like that because. I mean, everyone's journey is different in terms of, for everything. Everyone's at different points. So advice for someone, that could work for someone and it worked for their life, could apply to someone else, wouldn't be the best or most ideal thing. So, yeah, the Seamoss, it really just started growing really organically. It was great because I wasn't really like forcing it. I didn't go at it like really quick right away. I just kind of wanted to feel it out first, but I really had the intuitive feeling that, hey, I want to feel it first, like how it helps me, and then I can share it with others. Because, I mean, when you can actually speak from a place of experience, it's the testimonial is so much more powerful.
Facts.
And when you talk to other people, that emotion can convey onto them as well. And a lot of the time, I'm so passionate about it, like they can just feel that and they just want to try it. So I would say the Seamoss, once it hit summertime, I really started rolling. I was like, hey, I'm not trying to work too much this summer. Let's see how I can make some money through this. And it was at a perfect point, because not only did it bring money, it helped other people. It was really fulfilling for me, because to be able to like share stuff that helps other people like heal themselves and heal their family and people they love. I mean, that's incredible, because I'm all about thinking about like ripples, right? Like if one person can make like I would think of a flat pond, very still, and then you can throw pebbles in it, or you can throw big old rocks, and those ripples, even though you can't really see them after they reach a certain point, they're still going. And that's what I like to think, like just being able to help other people is so fulfilling. Like it makes my heart like, that's why I love doing it. And it's good for society too. I think being able to have more alternatives to just taking this medicine that has sped up red side effects for like 2 minutes, for like really quickly. There's so many like side effects to a lot of these pharmaceutical drugs that can be very helpful for some people, but I just like to be able to offer an alternative or an addition to whatever they're doing. So,
Zay, you had someone that you work with, right? They were able to heal an aspect. Yeah, you want to speak on that?
Yeah, basically, John Doe. she had
Jane Doe.
Jane Doe, yeah. So Jane Doe, she had celiac, which is a gluten disease, and she actually started taking the moss, and after 2 to 3 weeks, double scoop a day, she actually said it like healed her shit, and now she's like a week, like I guess if you will, a loyal customer. She buys like a lot, but that's what she really really likes, and she said it actually helped her with her celiac. So I haven't really learned too much about her personal testimony, but I know it helped her celiac. But more or less with the Seamoss business, you kind of more or less just attracted it. Instead of forcing your way into it, you found your way in that position. You know, you're a man that likes to cause ripples, like you said, and likes to heal people. It's something something you really go out of your way to enjoy. So you kind of like attracted the business, if you will, more or less than like chasing it. Do you think? Yeah.
Yeah, I would say I can't say it landed in my lap, but I will say there is a unseen hand guiding us all.
Amen to that.
And
God's plan.
There's gonna be a lot of opportunities, and I think I just rode the wave for that one, and I caught a good wave, and I'm gonna keep riding it because I'm just gonna keep going with the flow. I think it wasn't something that just came easy. Like I put in a lot of hours and a lot of time, a lot of energy. But I think that paired with that unseen hand, that divine guidance, it wasn't forced. It's always been from a place of I really enjoy it. Like it's like flow. It's like it's something I enjoy doing, and if it ever becomes something I don't enjoy doing, I'll just flow to the next thing because I think that's super important. Your heart has to be in whatever you're into at the moment, and I can feel that with you too. You guys love Animal Purpose. You guys love
facts.
to
Do what
have
we do.
people on, be able to like create dialogue, and I'm sure you feel the same way. Like if it ever becomes something where it comes from a place of like force, or you don't feel it doesn't like feel good anymore, you guys will go, hey, man, it's not his time.
That's what I was gonna say for you. Is you put a lot of like when you were first looking into it, the whole Seamoss process, it was just because you wanted something for yourself that would help you. Then you're taking it and you're like, oh shit, this is so helpful for my own
well-being.
Well-being and physiology that maybe it'll help someone else. And then it's like, oh, it helps you. And then it's like, it's just about helping that person more than the price tag that comes along with it. Because obviously there's a cost of production and all that. But it's the cost of production and the money that you get from it, the effect in which it has on the individuals themselves is way greater than the amount of profit that you could marginalize from it.
Mm-hmm. And that's I think that's like the really cool thing, like the way you can help people and still like make money.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not coming from like
a greedy
place.
place.
I have to scam them to make money, or I have to give them a faulty product, or like I have to overcharge them. Like it's like a win-win.
Yeah, so you believe in the product.
If you can create like win-wins, like situations, like your relationships will be awesome.
Yeah, exactly. And I
feel like maybe that might come from a selfish place. Like, what if someone can't provide anything? But I think.
But what you do is make the process between what they, like the goals that they have with their well-being, and the means that they have to go about those goals. You are in between that process of mitigating like the exchange between getting the ingredients and giving them the benefits. So, you know, they're paying for the ease of access. Because at the end of the day, like, you're not one to crank the margins to a point where it is a greedy thing. You're just marginalizing it so that way it is easiest for you to support yourself to do what you do, and then easiest for them so that way they can afford it to a point where it helps them at a fraction of the cost at what, you know, these other corporations are doing. Because you don't sell it on a mass scale. So if a company's selling it on a mass scale, they're making their, let's say they have a supplement that has 30 capsules in it. Each capsule costs a cent. The whole thing costs 30 cents, and they're charging it for $30.
Yes, that is definitely something that you see all the time. I mean, there's one, I'm not gonna name names, but like these, like you said, like these big distributors, they've gotten so big, and you have all the hype around it, but a lot of people don't know the facts behind it. Like I was mentioned earlier, like the bro Sebastian, he gets it right off the rock, and we call that wild crafted. So like wild crafted Seamoss, more nutrient dense, and compared to like farm or rope grown Seamoss. And this is something where a lot of these big distributors are getting it for so cheap, and they're also charging a lot of money, and it's also poor quality. So it's like, man, are you kidding me? Like the Peruvian Seamoss, I mean, it's definitely more expensive. It's a lot more expensive than the average rate, but it's like it shows up in quality. I mean, it is really, really good Seamoss, and to be able to work with someone like who actually goes down and gets it.
I was gonna say, you're so close to the production of it, so like you see the high qualityness of it.
Yeah, shout out to Sebastian, Sebastian Smith. He is he's a really cool guy, really down to earth, and in the next like 1-2 years, I'm planning a trip out to Peru, stay with him, dive down. I mean, I've never been to Peru, and I think that would be a dream.
Vlog
and I
will
think
be
to be able
cool.
to, I mean, to go back, like to experience, right? Like to actually like talk about like, yeah, I've traveled to Peru and I've harvested
it's
the
like
Seamoss that I'm selling.
Yeah, the blog, the testimony, it just will grow to your business itself.
Yeah. And that could also expand out to what could look like content that I could share on social media, like maybe a GoPro video of me diving down, like stuff like fun stuff like that, and it's all coming from a place of flow, right? That's like the awesome part, and it's only going to get bigger. So what shocked me was like 2 days ago I got this big old package, or it was more like last week, and I wasn't home. I was still out I was out of state, and I came back, and my mom was like, "Cameron, you got a big ass package," because she had to roll. I mean, it was really, really wide. It was probably like almost the size, and then it was wider than that, wider than the table itself, and it had like 45 pounds of Seamoss in it, and I've like, that was really like, this is the point where I'm thinking to myself, like, what is like a ton of Seamoss gonna look like? Like, Because eventually,
bro's moving bricks. No
like,
bullshit.
1,000 pounds.
I'm gonna have to get it's starting to get to a point where I need to start like thinking
Getting a
about
warehouse.
a warehouse and a commercial kitchen as well, because that's where it's kind of heading. And it's just really exciting.
I mean, yeah, it seems like there's a lot of growth in the future, and the way that you are going about it is not necessarily from like an industrial aspect, because you still want the process to be high quality. You want the products to be high quality, and so it's not like it's something where you're selling out for shitty quality with a higher profit margin. You just want to be able to house all the supplies that you have in order to, get it to the people at the same price, or with the same effect.
Cam, earlier you were talking about how you you allowed this hand to guide you in life, and you kind of naturally flowed into the Seamoss business. And I enjoy the way you said that, because I can relate, when people don't naturally flow with things, and then you kind of find your way out of the natural flow, you kind of just don't enjoy the things you do in life. That's even with your job, your hobbies, a relationship, whatever it is, when you naturally go out of your way to not make it natural, then it becomes a hindrance to your life, if you will. So I did enjoy how you said that earlier. But just going off that, you actually are a very spiritual guy. You actually got me into it, to be honest. Made me aware that I was into it, if you will. So for the people out there, just let them know, is there a specific way how you practice the way you go about your spirituality, and in terms of just oneness and being present, if you will? Is there a way you practice that?
So I believe that spirituality and everyday life is can be completely interwoven and integrated, and I think that, I don't know, this life is spiritual. You ever walk out and take a walk and you hear those birds, or you see the grass swaying and the trees swaying.
Let me interrupt real quick. It's funny you say, because this morning I was walking my dog. It was 6:30 in the morning, bro. I legit just stopped, closed my eyes, and I just listened. It's the first time I ever did it, bro. I actually recorded just the sound on my phone.
Of the birds chirping?
Of just the fucking wind and shit.
I do that every Saturday morning, bro.
Oh,
Every time I wake up Saturday morning, we'll probably cut this out, but I get a nostalgic feeling with just the birds chirping on a Saturday morning. It's different.
I don't know why I got into it, but I'm shit, this is...
It's tough.
Oh, yeah.
You can't hear it. That's tough.
It just makes you think, or makes you really internalize the fact that everything around us wakes up and starts, and there's just so many processes around us outside of our own body that we don't take into account, but it all works in synergy. It all works together. It all is it's all
called one.
It's all crafted to where it works synchronous
Synchronization.
with
I don't know how I can say that word.
With everything around us.
Yeah, I believe there is a like you said, this life is very spiritual. I feel this life is more than flesh. I am more than this body, or I'm more than you are more than your body. I feel this life is mostly a spiritual experience. It's just your soul experiencing life in a body, a flesh body, and I feel this is a test for your next life, if you will.
Oh yeah.
But I feel this life is way more spiritual than people meet the eye, more than meets the eye, I guess, if you will.
What does that look like to you? How does when you said you're training for the next life, how are you prepping? What does that look like for you?
Just doing what God would abide me to do, I guess, if you will. Just being the best version of myself physically, but when I do that physically, it in terms helps. It benefits me mentally and spiritually. More or less just focusing on my spirit and doing what God would want me to do, and just being the best version of myself and passing forward with what I know. So just living through abundance, if you will, and just flowing just like you do and talk about. Just being a man of integrity, helping others and passing along what I know, and just just being a man of God, I guess, if you will. That's what's helped me and made me realize and live differently, and actually given me internal peace. Since I've started that about a year and a half ago, maybe a year.
Hey, that's beautiful. Like, what does that look like for you?
It's a test. It's a test for sure. I always like to simplify it as there's innate good and there's innate bad, and the war in which you go about choosing those good or bad things in the moment is the test that your soul is going through. You have a choice at the moment in which something happens where you do or don't do something, and it either brings you more destruction, more harm, more lossless meaning, or a lack of meaning, more lossless, like more.
It's like a karmic cycle.
Yeah.
Do you
and
think
then
it's so? It seems to me is it like a moment by moment choice? Is that kind of what you're saying? Like
Yeah.
You have a choice every moment. Do you think about the past, or do you kind of like forgive yourself and let it reset and be like, this is now, like this is the
Yeah.
moment I get to do like the good.
Yeah, I think that if you are in a position where you are reflecting on the bad that you did in the past, it is preventing you from acting good in the present moment. Because I don't want, like, although I make mistakes and although I do wrong, that, you know, it is subconscious at some points where, you know, you just say something, you do something, then you look back, damn, I shouldn't have done or said X, Y, Z. If I constantly get stuck on, I shouldn't have done it, shouldn't have done it, shouldn't have done it, shouldn't, past tense, I can't now focus on, okay, next time that comes around or next time that certain situation comes back around, how I need to handle it better. And I think as long as you are working, or not working, as long as you're living in a way where you're in that constant self-reflective, repenting every bad thing that you did in the past, whether it's 5 minutes, whether it's 5 years ago, towards the good way to go about it. And then you just slowly start crafting your way towards being the best you can overall, instead of focusing on the bad that you did, the good that you can do going forward. That's really all it is. Because I mean, that's the biggest thing, bro. It's a test. You are tested on your free will, and you can. There's two ways, bro. There's either a good way to go about it or the bad way to go about it. It's a selfish way and a selfless way. And so, you want to be good and selfless. You never want to be bad and selfish. And I think, you know, unless people acknowledge that, they're going to go about it subconscious, which is without aim. It's aimless. If you're just aloof to it. You have to really check your actions, because your actions and your habits create the environment around you.
Yeah, and that whole idea reminds you just like this one fact from Atomic Habits by James Clear about like
I'm reading that right
like
now.
1% better each day. You're gonna get 37 times better at the end of the year. I mean, that statistic over time, like, I mean, if you're young and even if you're, I mean, every year if you get 37 times better, are you kidding me? I mean, that is something where you can strive to really hold yourself accountable.
Hold yourself accountable,
Don't
bro.
really just leave it to the automatic, whatever it may be, like whatever we're programmed to do. Because there's a lot of stuff that like we just accept unconsciously. It just happens automatically. It happens, like you said, from the subconscious, right? A lot of the actions we carry out through our day are derived from that.
Yeah.
And I think if we can make the unconscious conscious, and we can shed light on it, we can not only put inputs into it, like I mean, you can use it for your benefit too. I think that's a beautiful part. But yeah, I think you made a really good point with that.
Yeah,
Both really good points. So we talked about well, you asked us, you know, what is our thoughts on living in the spirit in this life? So I wanted to ask you, what does that look like for practicing, like, in terms of living in the spirit for you? Just got too excited thinking about the thought earlier.
I think a good example would be like what I was talking about before, like just going on a walk and just feeling that warm sun on your face. And I think being able to find that, which is beautiful in where other people don't see it, and just finding it in the small details in your life, and really just being focused on where you are So it doesn't have to be like when you're going on a walk, but maybe like you're going, you're in a really beautiful, inspiring building, or you hear a beautiful song, or you have a really inspirational conversation. And I think, or another one that I really like is cooking good food. I mean, that's something I really like. You really can find this, I mean, what is called spirituality and like in everyday things. I don't think it can be defined either. I don't think it's can be rightfully defined, at least, or anything that you can put in words would not be able to rightly justify or rightly explain it. And I think words are very limiting. And I think same thing with like spirituality or like a God. I feel like how can a human mind know that, right? It's one thing to like have a perception of it, but I think it's something that you can like tap into or feel, and that's not like coming from an ego where you're like separate because you're like connected to whatever you may call it, or God, source, or whatever that all pervasive feeling is around you, that like you feel like that oneness. Because I think whenever I'll give an example of this, and it will come back to like going out in nature. There is something about completely being immersed in nature, like almost like a sound bath, that brings you back into that oneness where you're those birds that are singing, that squirrel that just like scurries on the branch above you, the butterfly, the moss. I mean, the grass below you, just like putting your feet to the ground. I mean, everything is so beautiful, and I think every chance is a opportunity to explore that deeper. And yeah, and it's definitely looks different for everybody.
I
think that's big.
I love the emphasis on gratitude is what it sounds like. You know, like that you're trying to emphasize is that there's things between, whether it's you walk outside, it's a sunny day, or the food that you smell when you walk into a restaurant, or the joke that someone tells you that makes you laugh so hard you almost piss your pants. There's so many little different finite things to be grateful for that people just overlook because they're looking for more, and they're looking for, like it's just never enough. It's always this can be better, that can be better, this can be better, that could be better. But it's like you gotta reverse engineer that back down to like the simplest things are just such a blessing, bro. Like tomorrow we're gonna go outside, we'll play 5-on-5 basketball.
If God
and
willing,
like,
we wake up. But like when I wake up, bro, that is the little thing that you should be like cherishing.
Yeah.
Like, waking up and actually setting your feet on the floor, opening your eyes when you wake up, like actually breathing, taking in a breath. Like you get in such a like blessing, and we go by every second, even breathing now. It's just you don't really cherish that thing because it's subconscious to you, and it's just such a blessing that we get to wake up and cherish life each day and use our free will and live how we should.
It's an opportunity, bro. It's such a blissful opportunity, and just to be able to walk around, to talk to people, to express your own creativity. That's another thing too. Creativity is a blessing from whatever God you believe in.
Do you think that for me, I've been coming to a point where I'm really thinking that, hey, I'm not the doer, dude. I'm just like a conduit of it. And I think it's like divine expression. And it goes back to the creative. It goes back to that like invisible creative hand that pushes you. And I think it's awesome kind of thinking to yourself, like, I'm not really doing anything. I'm just the conduit. And I need to listen. I need to listen to that inner voice that's telling me, that intuition, the heart and mind that is telling me to do it. Because I think that most importantly is what is going to lead you to exactly where you need to be. And that's paraphrasing Steve Jobs. I mean, having the courage to do that is so potent, because there is something about that invisible hand that if you just trust it, if you just kind of leap right in, you're gonna get
a leap of faith.
That leap of faith. I mean, there'll be unexpected things that will occur to you that will be more beautiful than you can even conjure up in your brain. So I think that is something beautiful that I always try to walk around realizing that, like, hey,
those ripples, like you never know what that could turn into.
It's a beautiful way to put it too, to be honest, bro.
Divine expression. I like that. I like that phrase.
Definitely reach
Yeah, everything you said.
perfect way. It was beautiful the way you put it. So just to wrap up, we've talked about a lot here. Just to wrap up the final question, there's been like a big trending topic with psilocybin mushrooms. People use them at a micro level to heal their brain, if you will, with depression or people with PTSD. So are you familiar with that? And do you have thoughts on mushies? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I love mushrooms so much. I mean, I can't give the official recommendation that anyone who still has a developing brain should take them, because I guess we don't have the long-term studies on that.
Mm-hmm.
And never know. I mean, and it also can trigger, if you have dormant mental illnesses, that could be a trigger for it. But I will say mushrooms are the most healing thing that I put into my body, other than Seamoss.
Seamoss, is she legit?
But no, seriously, like I really have such a deep respect and reverence for mushrooms, because they humble you. I mean, they just turn the mirror right onto yourself, which I think is really important, because a lot of times there could be a lot of distractions. It could be like really just devoting all your time to scrolling social media. It could be food. It could be any kind of drug or addiction, and usually that's kind of like masking something. And I think that Dude, do you have something to think about it?
No, I mean, I've taken them like just like what they value, and like you said, it kind of humbles you, kind of just makes you more present in your behavior. And I've done it at a micro level, like 0.1, 0.2, because doctors have suggested it heals depression, and that's what I was using to actually heal some of my depression in the past. I would hit it at a micro level every 3 days for a little bit of time. But I can say like the healing, like you said, I got from it was like extraordinary. Like it was pretty crazy the amount of healing I got from it, doing it at such a micro level, and just what it provides, and like it's just so cool. I don't know, it's crazy.
Is there one like thing that you saw that you could attribute to mushrooms, in which like, wow, this really sparked a lasting change in me? Like, is there any kind of like
a lot of shit, bro?
Is there anything like major that you can think of?
My mental health, bro. I was depressed as fuck. Times I didn't want to be here, but I've like microdosed, and it made me look at life from a different perspective, a different just a different way to view it. It just made me accept life and be grateful for life instead of dreading it every day. Made me love who I am and love others for who they are and what they have to provide, instead of wanting more from them. It just even taking it at the micro level. I don't want to do it at a high level. You know what I'm saying? But just taking it at the micro level has just helped me a lot. Just benefited me a lot with just the mindset and being grateful to be here, and that just kind of planted a seed, and that's why I've been living my life the last 3 years. So it definitely could test my behavior mostly, to be honest. What about you?
I think it ties back into like my values. I mean, so
me too, as well. My values are different now too.
Yeah, right.
And more of an abundant lifestyle, more of a giving lifestyle, just trying to be the best version of myself so others can also thrive of what I have to provide, I guess, if you will. So just kind of like, I don't know. I was listening to this one dude, like this one rapper. His name's XXXTentacion, if y'all know who he is. But he basically was talking about how like evolution is the key to life. And like that's why, like that's what they don't want you to do. And like when you evolve, you're like doing a good service or a good deed to like God, if you will. At the end of the day, like everything's about evolution and what you do and pay forward. So I feel like that is a mindset I've gotten from microdosing as well. So it's pretty crazy. I don't know. It's just a lot of just a better perspective on life, dude, to be honest. Because before I was very just angry and is the word pessimistic?
Yeah.
I was very pessimistic. Yeah, and that's just how I was.
It's the idea that things
Me and James were talking about that.
The uncertainty of something that would happen. Pessimism is it would go badly. Optimism is it might go smoothly. It might go in your favor. And
I just thought life was just bullshit.
That's pessimistic.
Evil.
Yeah, that's
And
pessimistic.
yeah, I was very pessimistic, and there's another word I was looking for, but yeah, it just helped me overall. Do you guys, either of you, have a testimony?
I think for me, it helped my neuroplasticity. It helped me not necessarily be so stuck on the things that
don't matter.
It changed my view on what really mattered to me, and I think that's the part that really helped the most, was that I was now valuing things that I saw value in for the well-being of myself, not necessarily things that people were putting onto me that they were telling me were good for my own well-being, and that you should do this because it's good for you. It's like, well, I'll try it, but if it doesn't help me from me saying it to you, as far as like it helps me first, then, you know, it might not be the best way to go about it in terms of just me personally. Mm-hmm. And I think it really helped me identify how I wanted to live and the direction I wanted my life to go, regardless if it fell in line with what other people believed. Really helped me, break away from the chains of other people's opinions, other people's constraints, other people's parameters that they put in place for what I could be and what I am.
I think that's a beautiful part about mushrooms. Like, they really can help you restructure those thought patterns. And touching back on what we talked about earlier, like, what are those subconscious things that we have picked up throughout our lives that
we
show up because they are automatic. They're automatic.
Yeah.
So I think mushrooms, going back to what I was saying about like turning the mirror onto yourself.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
You start seeing your patterns.
That's a good analogy, bro.
And you really start to feel your patterns. You're like, yo, this one, I really shouldn't be doing this. It actually makes me feel bad.
Yes, bro.
I want to change this.
Yeah.
And I mean, I throughout my time doing them over the past couple years, I will say, I really do think I'm a better person.
So am I.
I mean, there are certain tendencies in which I recognize that it wasn't cool. I mean, it wasn't like something that was like helpful to others. It was like me, and it usually comes from a place of like not loving yourself completely.
Yeah.
I think what Isaiah said about the self-love that you feel off mushrooms, or it kind of just shows you again, because it's almost like a feeling that you've definitely felt before, mm-hmm. but you almost get out of tune with it. And it's so beautiful because like it just shows you some insight that like it's possible and you can work towards it, and you can make that an actual lasting change in your life. Because okay, obviously drugs aren't the answer. I'm not gonna call mushrooms a drug, but I will say like being dependent on anything isn't something that you want to do.
Yeah, like love, caffeine, working out, your job. Like everyone has a vice. But at the end of the day, when you're dependent on it, that's when it's a negative habit.
Yeah,
totally. And I think the power though that it can show you that like self-love again, and you can realize that's possible, and you can also, going back to the mirror, like you see like what are these thought patterns that are causing this, right? Mm-hmm. And that to me is why I love mushrooms. And you got to do them responsibly. Like there's some people I see, they just eat like
eighths and fucking 4 or 5 grams
without knowing. I think if you're eating it with an intention to do that, that's one thing. But some people abuse the medicine, and it's medicine. You don't take medicine if you're not sick. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of that's my thing.
I think there were some times where I've like really sat down with my thoughts, and I've thought to myself like, I don't like doing X, like I don't like doing Y, but yet I still find myself day in and day out doing it. And it's like we talked about earlier with that self-reflection. It really forces you to come to terms with the things that you're pushing down through external distraction. Mm-hmm. And we talk about it a lot. There's some reels on our page already that talk about masking, mm-hmm. and how people just run to environmental factors to help fill the void of the thing that they're struggling with, to make it okay that this hides what I'm going through, so it's okay to do X, Y, Z, whatever the habit activity is. And until they come to terms with it's not really beneficial in the long run, it actually just, a mask isn't beneficial for anybody. It not only gives off a false representation of how you look and feel to others. If you tell a lie to a lot of people, over a long period of time, eventually you're going to start to believe that lie and be out of touch with what you know to be true. And so, I mean, bro, I've done it a long time in my life, and I know a lot of people that like to, that doesn't bother me. That's not a bad part of me. That's not this. It's like
can't accept it and come to,
it's like
can't accept it and come to terms with what they're doing, and that's why they say it's not a part of me, or it's, I don't do this, that, and the third. But deep down, they know it's a disservice to them. But it's comfortability, and they keep doing it.
Oh yeah, and that shit rubs you the wrong way, and you don't know. I mean, sometimes it's hard. It's really hard to face yourself. Sometimes it's really intimidating.
And I think that's where that bad trip comes from. I think that's why people have it, because they're not mentally they're not
mentally ready to bear with what they are, what they've created.
It throws you for a damn loop, for sure. It definitely throws you for a loop, and I think it can be really helpful, but only do it if you're called to.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
like
there
are some things that like. Some people, you just don't need to take it. Like, I know people who have come to all the same conclusions without mushrooms or without smoking weed or, like, any kind of everything can be found within. That is definitely the message.
At the end of the day, deep meditation can bring you the same oneness,
100%. Yeah.
Beautifully said.
Yeah.
Or nature walks, right?
Nature walks. Anything that has a self-reflection that you're just aware
religion,
of.
Religion, for me personally. Religion has really
all of
helped
them
me,
are tough.
Played into that self-reflection. It's just, when you self-reflect, you give up your ego to being critiqued. You give it up. You're like, these are things that I'm doing wrong, and whether or not someone else tells me or whether or not I tell myself them, I understand that as long as there's time in front of me, there's time to fix it, and there's times to do better.
Well said.
Yeah, time is the best currency we have.
Nah, this pod was crazy. It was pretty fire. We got pretty in-depth with a lot of things. I'm sure we'll do an episode with Cam in the future. But for the most part, we'll probably have to wrap it up. You guys get your thoughts out?
Oh, yeah, I'm good.
Totally.
I'll save everything for part 2. It's all good. Everything else.
Yeah, well, appreciate everyone listening. We'll have all this divided. We'll definitely have timestamps this time around. And we just wish everyone the best, and hope everyone gets to do some... No, I'm playing. You guys hope everyone gets to...
Self-reflect.
Self-reflect. And just
everybody self-reflect.
Hope they picked up on something listening. So without further ado... Wish everyone the best, but have a blessed and a wonderful day.
Have a good one.
Yeah, peace out, y'all.